with a little nigun that I'm sure that you all know, and then we're going to weave that nigun, which is a song without words, into Be Okay, and then end it with Debbie Friedman's powerful Those Who Sow, which is the theme of today. All right. Let's all try that. Be okay, be okay. I just wanna be okay today. I just wanna be okay, be okay, be okay. I just wanna be okay today. Let's all try that. I just wanna be okay, be okay, be okay. I just wanna be okay today. I just wanna be okay, be okay, be okay. I just wanna be okay today. Next verse. I just wanna feel today, feel today, feel today. I just wanna feel something today. I just wanna feel today, feel today, feel today. I just wanna feel something today. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, shall reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. It's the song of the dreamer, from the dark place it grows, from the flower in the desert, the oasis of our souls. Come back where we belong. You who hear our longing sighs, our mouths, our lips are filled with song. You can see our tear-filled eyes. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Everybody now, those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
Welcome to our first healing service. It's something that Kendra and I have thought about for a few years now, but then this year we looked at each other and we said there's no way that we can possibly enter the new year without creating some space for healing, without allowing ourselves this opening for wholeness and for identifying the inner work that we have been doing and that we are doing and that we'll continue to do. Because this year has been a year. And it's not just COVID either, it's everything. It was the election. It was the divisiveness. It was the ways that we as a community have been fractured and the need that we have to find wholeness with each other, to find love with each other. to find that sense of community and belonging. And what better way to do that than at this moment as we look forward to the year ahead and we think about the ways that we are going to grow closer. We think about the parts of ourselves that we want to focus on, and we think about the need that we have to hold each other. And so music. Harmony doesn't care who you are. Melody doesn't care if you believe this or believe that. All that matters is that you put yourself in it and that we allow those notes to weave together to build something whole. And so that's what we're going to focus on this afternoon. We're going to just focus on the prayers, and we're going to focus on the music, and we're going to hear each other's stories. And we're not going to judge them. We're just going to hear them. And we're going to hold each other in whatever you bring today. Because it's all good. And it's all going to be okay as long as we bring ourselves. So we thank you for being here. Whatever it is that's in you, just allow it to be in you. Because we've been surviving. But this year we want to thrive. So let's help each other do that. Hope, and for those of us too scared for hope. Dear God of compassion, comfort us, heal us, give us strength. For those of us bathed in tears, and for those of us to whom tears do not come. For those of us who voice the anguish of our feelings, and those of us caught in caverns of silence. For those of us grieved by the pain in our loved ones' eyes. Those of us grieved by the pain of isolation. Dear God of compassion, comfort us, heal us, give us strength. Next page, page 2. We're going to have a reflective chance to experience the Gehilah responsively, but not with words, responsively, but with meditation. So I will read a line, and then read the next line in italics to yourself. And we'll come back to the bold, and then back to the silence, but allow yourself to feel that silence. You shall love the eternal your God with all your mind, with all your strength, with all your being. Now silence. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, and let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates. Be mindful of my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourself to your God. I am the Eternal, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I, the Eternal, am your God. Don't forget to breathe.
Words can create. Words can bring us into an emotional state. And so I wrote these words that no matter where you are right now, just by saying them over and over again, but believing in them, you can be where you want to be. Because you are capable of anything. Love with all your heart and all your soul. Believe in who you are and you'll be whole. Love with all your heart and all your soul. Believe in who you are and you'll be whole. Love with all your heart and all your soul. Believe in who you are and you'll be whole. Love with all your heart and all your soul. Believe in who you are and you'll be whole. With all your heart and with all your soul, it'll take your might to keep you whole. With all your heart and with all your soul, it'll take your might to keep you whole. Love with all your heart and all your soul. Believe in who you are and you'll be whole. Love with all your heart and all your soul. Believe in who you are and you'll be whole. With all your heart and with all your soul.
like to invite our first speaker to share her journey. Roberta, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Ken, let us just pin your screen. Now we can see you too. Roberta, we are happy to see your face. And we
Thank
hope
you.
that
It's great to be here.
but at the time being, we're glad you can join us this way and to tell us a bit about where you've been for the last year or so.
Life is a journey, and each experience is its own chapter. You only get to write it once, and sometimes it's difficult to edit, but its lessons can be invaluable. The chapter of my life I want to share today started at this very same time last year, at the height of the pandemic. Our daughter and her family had just moved to Seattle, and my husband Marty and I were excited to be able to make the visit to celebrate Rosh Hashanah in their new environment. With much caution, we decided to drive rather than fly and packed our car with luggage, wipes, gloves, and lots of hand sanitizer. Our goal was not to end up isolated in a hospital with COVID. We were to be very careful. After 3 long days in the car, we arrived at our daughter's home to find a beautiful guest room and welcoming family. Our daughter and her husband and our 2 teenage grandchildren were all at home due to the pandemic. We looked forward to the upcoming Rosh Hashanah services and participating in Zoom services with our CBI friends. How wonderful it would be to pray together with our home community while sharing the holiday with our children. We had planned a 2-week visit. Sounds like an ordinary chapter, doesn't it? Except for a slip. Not a slip like you wear under a dress, but a slip by me in the shower. Before I knew it, I was on the floor of this stall-sized shower with my back up against the corner wall and glass encasement. I felt the pain immediately and knew I was in trouble. As I yelled for Marty to help, he came running. He could see from my twisted leg that this was no ordinary fall. I felt the pain and knew I was in trouble. Yes, I said that once before, but here it goes again. Marty came. He came to my rescue, and we decided that calling 911 was inevitable. As the first responders would soon be arriving, I asked for a towel and a house dress. At the time, being naked in a shower seemed almost as devastating as my injury. 3 fire trucks and an ambulance lined the narrow street, including a hook and ladder. The firefighters had to get me down from the 2nd floor and weren't quite sure how they would do that. As I reached the street, I realized that this was not the way our daughter had wanted to meet her new neighbors. Discussion ensued as to what hospital to go to. Fortunately, through a stroke of luck, we chose the University of Washington Harborview, which is a trauma hospital. After what seemed like hours in the ER, I was admitted and taken to a room where I learned I would have surgery for what was a shattered femur. Somehow, I had not only broken the strongest bone in my body, but shattered it. This one slip would enable me to understand a song that I had sung for many years, Al Kehilah. For the honey and the bee sting, for the bitter and the sweet, all things join together, that are all things for the bitter and the sweet, all things join together to make our lives complete. If this had not happened to me, I would probably not have noticed the many people in our lives that make a difference. After surgery, I was taken to a Jewish rehabilitation center, which was under lockdown due to COVID-19. I was unable to place my weight on my left leg for almost 3 months. But for 17 days, I was isolated from my family and surrounded by those who would soon become my family, all the aides who had to change into PPEs every time they entered my room just to care for me, the physical and occupational therapists, the meal deliverers, and the doctors, each of who had to be dressed, masked, and shielded when entering my room. This was the first time a family member would not be sitting in the chair or sleeping in my room while I was recovering. When I think about first responders, these selfless individuals are at the top of my list, as I could do almost nothing for myself. While I was there, my family, especially Marty, was getting things ready at our daughter's home so I could get into the house as well as live there. A ramp from the street and around to the side of the house had to be built, and a hospital bed, commode, walker, and wheelchair had to be ordered. My family did just what I knew they would. They surrounded me with love. Love was given by many of you too, my CBI family. I received many, many, many cards, gifts, and text messages. We shared Zoom calls, played canasta online, and I learned a new hobby, learning to knit on a loom. When people asked me, how did your daughter and family react to having you live with them for what turned into 7 months? I am happy to share that it was some of the best times of our lives. Because we were in the pandemic, we were all at home. We had dinner every single night together. Our daughter and son-in-law prepared the meals so that Marty could just sit. After all, he was up and down all day attending to my needs. We celebrated birthdays, National Spaghetti Day, Pie Day, Donut Day, the national election, and all the Jewish holidays together, and anything else we could think of to have fun. Our son flew out to Seattle twice and joined us for family game night, also on Zoom, and Passover Seder. When I was finally well enough to fly home, our CBI caring committee provided meals for us a couple of times a week for about a month, so we could settle into a routine and to give Marty a much needed break, as he was still doing all the food prep. Those bringing meals would often stay for a visit, since we were all vaccinated, and that made it a wonderful time to be together with them after being apart for so long. They offered to shop and drive me to appointments, and sat there in their cars because the waiting rooms were way off limits due to COVID. Today, a year later, I am much better. I am still doing some physical therapy. I suffer from fear of falling, and it holds back my recovery a bit, but I am getting there. In fact, I sit here today speaking to you from Seattle to observe Yom Kippur. Although when I arrived, my son-in-law said, "No shower for you." Yes, I have lived the words of Al Kehilah. I have seen the honey and the bee sting and know that you really can't appreciate one another you cannot appreciate one without the other. So may this year be of good health for us all and peace, and may God continue to help us all heal. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberta.
Every bee that brings the honey needs a sting to be complete.
Number 6.
And we all must learn to taste the bitter with the sweet. Keep on God the fire burning, and through the day, for the person who is returning from so far away. I'll call it.
Al Kehilah.
glory. Slipping and tripping.
Rabbi Sarah Mason Barkin made me do it. That's correct. My rabbi made me, asked me.
Fix this real quick, sorry. Otherwise people can't hear you at home.
To think about my healing journey and in an analytical manner. During my lowest period of life, the shock, the trauma of losing my wife for 52 years, I just felt I was low, hurt, self-pity. I was a mess, caused by loss, by change, and feeling that my wonderful marriage and my comfort level would never be the same. But wait, I've experienced other significant loss. My father, my mother, and my brother Jerry. The losses mentioned were hard. They shook me to the core. My blood pressure changed, my confidence was shaken. I cried, and I felt my entire being was compromised. Rabbi Sarah, I've had other losses in Vegas. During the monsoons, my beloved Arizona trees, business losses. But don't for a minute think that I equate the loss of a few bucks on a sporting event or the loss of a tree in an Arizona windstorm with the significant and extremely painful loss of my wife or members of my family or friends. But when Rabbi Sarah asked me to describe my healing journey, I reverted to the business and analytical Marty and concluded that to fight through terrible loss, one must try to step up from the flood of emotions, anxiety, and resultant self-loathing and follow our Yom Kippur teachings and try to be strong and of good courage. I would add, be strong and of great courage. My toughest healing journey was not easy, and I was captured by the sadness of the loss, the emotion caused by change, and the self-pity caused by my own selflessness. Fortunately, I had a caring family and a constituency of friends that provided incredible support, advice, direction, and help to lessen this tough journey from loss to a new life. That's right. The destination is to a new life filled with purpose and meaning and good deeds. Very similar to the fulfilling lives I had with my wife, my dad, my mom, and my brother. I believe that God himself, or herself, commanded that my journey and your journey from extreme loss of loved ones to a new fulfilled life of good deeds, guided by purpose, is ordained with the words of our fathers, choose life. I believe that once I got through the maze of negative emotions and self-pity, I thought through the next period of my life, followed by the teachings of my father and my rabbis, choose life. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
There's only us. There's loneliness. For can't we rest? Or life is yours to miss. No other can.
or silence. If you'd like some readings, some words to guide you, you can use pages 5 and 6, which are just readings for you. Page 3, number 8.
I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. I'm perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. Okay, so we may have a lot of woes, but we're going to turn those into woes. Let's try that together. Here we go.
Jackie, will you come tell us your story?
My divorce, a love story. Prologue. Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, in a time not so long ago, there was a girl named Jackie who longed to be loved. She met a boy named Tom, and they got married and they bought a house. They had 3 children. They bought a minivan and got a dog. They went on vacations and set up college funds and had lots of hopes, dreams, and plans. And then one day, for reasons that are far too complicated and lengthy and too personal to share here, they had to separate and hire lawyers and divide the possessions and come up with a parenting plan. How was this possible? Jackie looked around her, surrounded by broken dreams and shattered hope for the future that she had imagined since she was a little girl. Instead of love, Jackie was filled with guilt and shame, remorse and regret. The should-haves, the could-haves, and the if-onlys were a constant reminder of her failure. Jackie had never before experienced this kind of pain, one that included panic attacks and blubbering in the cereal aisle. So Jackie went to therapy and support groups and read dozens of books. She hiked with the sunrise and bought herself flowers. She meditated and learned to sit in silence, without TV as a distraction, without alcohol as a numbing agent or her phone to give her a false sense of purpose. She bought amazing shoes and ate the best chocolate she could find. She sat with her children as they shared their pain, listening with counterfeit strength, offering genuine compassion. She journaled her feelings and yelled at God. She took long naps, long baths, and long cries. She immersed herself in her favorite music and danced with her children in their newly purchased, joy-filled home. She created new hopes and dreams, took a painting class, and surrounded herself with people and things that brought her delight. She earnestly pursued peace. Today we pick up this story somewhere in the middle. Jackie has found love. I have found abundant, generous self-love. I have learned self-forgiveness, the art of the do-over, the necessity of releasing perfectionism, and the tremendous satisfaction of taking care of myself with lavish extravagance. Healing is a word that I used to think had an arrival or a destination. Some timeline that included a completion, tidy healing, checkmark, done. I might never really be over my divorce because it will always be a part of me, part of my story. It is one of the many fabrics making up my tapestry of life. It has left a scar that I will carry with me always. But my scars make me more useful in the world and more forgiving and loving of myself. Healing is not a straight path. There is no checklist so that we can know when we're done. Everyone's healing journey looks different. We can learn from each other, but we have to forge our own way and listen to our own hearts. I have a prayer for all of us today from our Yom Kippur Matzah. The prayer is an interpretation of Psalm 16. If you want to find it, it's on page 71. And this offers a way to travel through life, to heal and to hope. Pure heart, clear mind, generous vision, gentle words, the courage to say yes, the strength to say no, steadiness in your work, purpose every day. I set you before me always, Adonai, mindful of you, may I never be shaken.
Page 4, number 9.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found.
Continuing on page 4. We ask God for healing. We ask ourselves what we need in order to find our healing. We imagine what it will be like when we are whole, and we strive to get close to that, knowing that we're perfect the way we are, and a little broken too.
Begin at the bottom, El Narifana. El Narifana, Repeat after me, second verse. Restore our strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our minds. Refresh our tired spirit. Rejuvenate our lives. El
We ask you for names, but knowing that within all of these names is also each one of us. It's also our whole community. This prayer for healing is for this world that we are living in. But we can't make it better until we feel better. So we invite you to share the names, but also knowing that each of you here today, each of you, whether you're on Zoom or YouTube or here in the room, we're praying for all of us together. We hold each other in spirit, if not with our hands, because we've learned how to do this now. We've learned that we don't have to touch to be known, to be found. We sing together. As we conclude this part of our Yom Kippur day, we'll sing you out, but we know that what you have to do next to go to Yizkor is hard. It's a part of that feeling, that part of sensing that we don't have all the pieces of ourselves when our loved ones are not with us, when we are missing people. So don't rush off, even though I know you want to get your seat. Get yourself ready for what comes next, and be ready to hold yourself, to carry yourself as we carry each other through the rest of this day. And just know that what we've done here together today is just one part of this journey. It's just taking us one step closer to the people that will be by this time next year.
Everything's gonna be alright. 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 Everything's
I want
gonna be
to offer a big
alright.
thank you to Roberta, to Marty, to Jackie. You've taught us a lot. We're going to carry your wisdom. I want to thank Josh for connecting us to all of our friends at home, and all of you for giving us a try. We're trying Yom Kippur in a new way today.